Bitcoin overtakes Google's market cap to become the 6th largest asset. The internet's money is now worth more than the company that runs the internet. Can we continue in this trend and create a new all-time high, or are we due to some bigger correction? Let's unlock the trading insights. Hello ladies and gentlemen of the Paradise Club, this is Simon from My Crypto Paradise. Welcome back, it's great to have you here. We have a new week ahead of us. Today is Tuesday. Let's break down Ethereum and Bitcoin. A little bit of Ethereum, more Bitcoin. So previously, 2 days ago, we have been discussing that if we will be able to break through these resistances and have a successful reclaim, we will create a new trend to the upwards and we will create a new all-time high. As you can see, we are breaking right now through the resistances, but there are no reclaims confirmations just yet, so there is no confirmation of making a new all-time high. If we will create a new all-time high, you know from our free Telegram update alert where the next ultra high time frame resistances are, and in this video we will discuss how probable is it for Bitcoin to reclaim these resistances and have a upwards rally towards the next resistances that we are seeing right here on ultra high time frame chart. If you have not read our free alert, make sure that you click the link in the description and join our free Telegram channels. But before that, we will discuss together the strength between Ethereum and Bitcoin. Who is stronger right now? So as you remember, we have been discussing this impulse on Ethereum/Bitcoin chart, okay? So for few weeks, the Ethereum seemed to be much more powerful than Bitcoin. Also because of this chart, it created a new bullish trend. As you know, we are using for price action development Elliott Wave theory, and we have spectated that basically we are creating a new 5 moves to the upside because we have understood that this was the first wave, second wave, this was the most impulsive third wave based on the guidelines. This was fitting very well, and then we have stopped the trend and we have started a new sideways movement, and this is very common for a fourth wave, okay, in Elliott Wave theory. If you are on our website and you are educating yourself in our MCP free university, you know the wave formula of the motive mode wave, right? And this fourth wave is a corrective mode wave, and usually it subdivides itself into 5 smaller waves inside of a triangle. And as you can see right here, we have created exactly that, a symmetrical triangle. We have created A, B, C, D, E. The 5th wave, the E wave, was right here deviated below the ascending trend line and the moving average trend line as well. So it caught loads of stop losses and liquidation levels right here. And then we had the final surge to the upside. And right now it seems like we are breaking from that triangle. However, to say with 100% certainty that we will be revisiting and finishing our impulse, our motive mode wave, the 5th wave, at these resistance levels, we need to have a successful reclaim of this triangle. And as you already know, it's not only about break from the triangle, we also need to have a successful reclaim, and that contains from 3 parts. One is a break with a nice volume. We are having a volume, but it's not above average, but it's still okay if we can have the second part, and that is turning this previous resistance into a support. How? By retesting it, having a bullish retest and not breaking below it. So basically right now we are on a daily chart. The daily candle needs to definitely on this retest close above this descending trend line that previously worked as a resistance, okay? After that, the third part is some kind of a reaction from this ascending trend line. So I want to see some kind of nice momentum going on, and that will confirm that, all right, we are nicely reclaiming this contracting triangle and we can start the 5th wave that will take us towards this and this resistance. So right now all eyes are on the retest, ladies and gentlemen. If that's gonna happen, the Ethereum will be much stronger than Bitcoin, and I can assume that we will have even a decoupling. It can be a hard decoupling where the Bitcoin is going down, Ethereum is going up, or it can be the medium one where Ethereum is going up, eating the volume from Bitcoin and Bitcoin is moving sideways. About that in the future videos. Right now what's important is to have a successful reclaim. If the reclaim will not be successful, we will go back to the top of the first wave, that is right here, ladies and gentlemen. So this will be our high time frame support zone right here at around, let me put a horizontal ray right here at around 1952 level. I think it's Satoshi, so all eyes on that. And speaking about Ethereum, let's take a look at Ethereum on a daily time frame. I have something very interesting to share with you. Take a look at the histogram, at the MACD histogram, and basically we can see some kind of a trend right here. Yeah, as you know, the price action is very boring on a high time frame. So for swing trading, this is absolute disaster. We are moving absolutely nowhere since May 12th, ladies and gentlemen. There is no high time frame trend, and what happened already 2 times at the local tops is something very important. Not only every time we have created a shooting star that I have been talking about in the previous videos, shooting star candlestick pattern reveals a potential reversal, ladies and gentlemen, and adds up to the bearish probability point system. Another thing is watching on your oscillators how the momentum is behaving. Do we have some bearish divergence, bullish divergence, etc.? And right now if you take a look at the histogram of MACD, you can see a nice trend right here. The momentum is declining from the bearish pressure to the upside, and as you can see, as the bears are losing strength, we are having a push to the upside, and the momentum, the bearish momentum, is losing strength. All right, and right here, as we have went with the price action to the upside, we had a decline in momentum for 1 and 2 days in a row, and after that we had the bearish momentum back, created a lower low against this one, and the price action had a sharp rejection. Right after that, in this local high, so this was the previous local high, the next local high, it was plus one day, right? So 1, 2, 3 days, and the 4th day was basically a sharp rejection. And right now, if the trend is going to continue, ladies and gentlemen, and we will again have a +1, that means from here there was 2 days of an uptrend with a decline in momentum, here for 3 days. Now we are on a 4th day. So we are on a 4th day. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4. If the trend is going to continue, the next day will be again a sharp rejection. So something very important to watch out, ladies and gentlemen. You know that tomorrow there is going to be a volatility because we have a great financial CPI news coming out. So expect volatility, and if this trend is going to continue, it will be to the downside, ladies and gentlemen. So we need to be absolutely careful about a rejection of Ethereum if this trend is going to remain. Let's jump into Bitcoin right now. As you can see, for the first time in weeks, we have created to the downside an impulse. So basically the wave that is going to the downside is more complex than to the upside. As you can see right now, we are having something simple about which we will be talking about. And for a very long time, as you can see, to the downside, we had only these kind of corrective waves, right? Very simple corrective structures. Right now, however, we are creating something very complex, and based on the Elliott Wave theory, this should be a first sign of a change in the trend and a potential reversal. However, we need to be careful, because if this MACD line with the moving average trend line will cross bullish, we can have a continuation in the bullish trend and creation of a new all-time high. So if this will start crossing bullish, ladies and gentlemen, we need to be very careful and definitely watch out for the successful retest. If it's gonna have a successful retest, for example, as you have seen right here, we will continue in the bullish trend, and with the highest probability, we will create a new all-time high. If we shift our focus into this price action and we take a look at medium time frame, 4-hour time frame on Bitcoin, what can we see is something very interesting. First of all, we have a decline in momentum, in bullish momentum. We will be talking about that, but let's have a look at the pattern we have formed and we have just achieved a target for. So can you say, what is this? Well, this is inverted head and shoulders pattern, right? This is a left shoulder created in a corrective mode wave, because this was the 4th wave of our impulse to the downside. It's basically this one but inverted, right? However, all the rules and the guidelines are absolutely the same. And if we take a look how the inverted head and shoulders pattern looks like, we need to have a left shoulder, right shoulder neckline and a breakout. And how we calculate the target is taking the depth of the head back to the neckline and putting it to the breakout point. All right, so let's have a look what we have created right here on 4-hour time frame. So this is the left shoulder. By the way, it needs to be created by some corrective mode wave, okay? Both of the shoulders. And this was the 4th wave of the previous impulse, so that's correct. That's perfectly fine and confirms that this is inverted head and shoulders pattern. Right shoulder right here, also created by a corrective mode wave. We'll be talking about which wave that was and why it was corrective in a minute. However, right here we have a head. Let's finish first the target of the inverted head and shoulders pattern. Then let's create with our counting tool the percentage of the depth and the potential target. We will put it to the breakout point, ladies and gentlemen. And if we will take the whole move to the downside and then we will put the counting tool to the breakout point, we can pretty much see that the target was already achieved perfectly. Together with that, we have the structural resistance right here. And as you can see, we have already got some reaction out of it. So we have completed the inverse head and shoulders pattern target, ladies and gentlemen. And if we cannot reclaim this resistance into, there will not be a continuation higher. So with the highest probability right now, because we have achieved this target of the inverted head and shoulders pattern, we can expect that Bitcoin will have some kind of a correction until we can reclaim this resistance level. If we will reclaim this resistance level into support, I will definitely be looking at some long position. But right now we can see on the uptrend we have started a decline of the volume, decline of the momentum. Once we cross these two lines, it will have a bearish cross, ladies and gentlemen, and the same way as it happened right here, I will be expecting some sharp rejection. Let's take a look and analyze this on 1-hour time frame, on low time frame chart, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, the head and shoulders pattern, the classic one, where this is the left shoulder, this is the right shoulder, this is the head, and this is the right shoulder, is still intact until the price action goes above the head. All right, we didn't have any break above this line, so the price action lower was not followed, was not confirmed. What we have started to do instead, after we have created the impulse on a high time frame chart, this one 1 2 3 4 5 subdivides into 5 smaller waves, right? An impulse, a motive mode wave, we have started a corrective mode wave, this one, and I do believe that we are creating this one inside of a zigzag pattern. Let me show you what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you are educating yourself on our website about the technical analysis and strategies, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So the wave structure of a zigzag wave looks like this. It subdivides itself into 3 waves, and the A wave is a motive mode wave, C wave is a motive mode wave, and the B wave is a corrective mode wave, alright? And this corrective mode wave can be a triangle, can be a zigzag itself, but most often it's a triangle. And in this case, we have got a skewed triangle, alright? So for confirmation, this was the A wave, alright? And after that, we have started a skewed triangle. And as you know, the skewed triangle is subdividing itself into 5 smaller waves, A, B, C, D, E, right? And then basically, once the E is finished, we are continuing in the same trend where this consolidation inside of the skewed triangle started. So for the confirmation, we can calculate the subwaves right here, A, B, C, D, E. Ladies and gentlemen, right here we have got the final E wave, and then we continued in the trend. And I do believe that this is the finish of the C wave, because we have not only rejected out of the horizontal line that I have taken by connecting the bottom of the A wave, the start of the A wave right here, with the B wave, all right? And then what I have done basically is put it to the top of the A wave, and if I extend it like this, like so, like this, I basically take the trend line, put it to the top of the A wave, and as you can see, it gives me a nice target of the C wave. This is how you trade it, all right? And we have so far got a nice rejection, ladies and gentlemen, and we have also got a little bit of a retest. This might be a secondary smaller wave, and unless we can reclaim this ascending trend line and turn it into a support, I do believe that we will have a correction and we can continue lower. Once we can also reclaim the neckline from the higher degree time frame head and shoulders pattern, I do believe that the next target for Bitcoin is going to be right here at $95,000, right? So the price action would look something like this. If we can break first of all below this ascending trend line, and then if we can reclaim also this neckline right here, we will have a continuation towards $95,000, ladies and gentlemen. I will update you about the price action basically from the Elliott Wave theory. What I do believe that we are creating right now is a hard degree first wave. This is just a rejection and correction of the main trend, and now we will start a third wave to the downside if the resistances won't be reclaimed, right? We can also understand the guidelines from the Elliott Wave theory. The A wave should be similar length as the C wave. Sometimes they are identical, sometimes they are very close. So basically this is the length of the A wave, then I calculate the C wave, and as you can see, it's absolutely similar. That means one of the guidelines, another guidelines are correct, and it really seems like this was just a correction, zigzag corrective mode wave, and we will have the larger trend going to the downside. However, if we will close a daily candle and start reclaiming these resistances, as I said before, I will be looking for long positions and for a new all-time high. As you know, I will keep you updated every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. That means next video will be on Thursday. Smash the like button and I will see you on Thursday. Cheers.